Hey, what is up you guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're doing another speed build, and this one is actually just in time for Valentine's Day. It is a WooHoo club, a very special type of club. I really struggled with this. It literally took me 4 hours to build it because I kept going back and forth about how I wanted things to be. Like, even the front here, I changed the door, I changed the positioning and everything. I had to change things multiple times over, also because it wasn't working with me. I do try to experiment with platforms in this build. I don't do a lot of platforms in my builds. I would love to because I love the way that platforms look, but I can never figure out how to position them or make them work right. But I think I did a pretty decent job with this. I did have to fix it. Like, I'm struggling because I didn't realize that the stairs were the reason why it wasn't working right at first. So I had to kind of manipulate it and try to make it work and just find a way around the issue that I was having. So I did end up figuring it out. But then you'll see I'm gonna end up I'm gonna flip the entire building because it just wasn't doing it for me, and I realized I had built it backwards when I needed space to put the other rooms in the club. It's okay though, because we made it through. I still managed to get it to work the way I wanted it to, kind of. I think that there were still some things I would have fixed or maybe added more seating. You'll see later on. But I wanted to add a little bit more seating in this. And the amount of times I go back and forth about things, you will see me change everything constantly. Like, the main room, I think, stays mostly the same. It's the rooms behind the main room. Now, you'll see we're gonna have a bar area, I guess, and then I had the idea to make it more like not a restaurant vibe, but more of a lounge vibe. So when I do add the bar, it will get moved. So it will not stay in its original positioning. I also wanted to say I have no clear idea like how to make the platform not be the default color, like the default concrete color, but I just couldn't figure it out. I tried before I even started recording it, and I just couldn't figure it out. So unfortunately, the platform color is going to be that ugly concrete color until I can figure out a way to change it, because I literally have no idea. I know that there's a way to do it. I just don't know how. So I might look it up. I could have looked it up before, I guess, but I might look it up later. But it doesn't really bother me that much, so I don't really care about what the platform color is, to be quite honest with you. As long as the main flooring is the correct color, then that's really all that matters in my opinion. Anyway, though, as a general thing, I am kind of proud of this build a little bit. It's different from the builds that I usually do and post. So it was a fun little project. I had an idea in mind because of a book that I read actually. Well, it's a book series. So this book series that I have read, they had a WooHoo club, and I was like, okay, if I was in this book, how would I make, like, what would the club look like basically? So I tried to kind of mimic it. Like, I used it as a basis. I didn't copy it exactly, but I did try to use it as a general basis. So in the book, they don't really say anything about the bathroom, so I just winged the bathroom. It's just a bathroom. As long as people have a place to go, then that's all that matters. I think the bathroom doesn't really matter. It's not really relevant. But the bar, which that's actually why I originally put the bar where it is right now, because in the book, the bar is right beside the stage. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna put it right beside the stage, and then we're gonna lead it back to the rooms, because it's kind of hard to explain. If you're ever interested in reading the books, they are by Sarah Kate. I can't remember the actual series name right now, but I do remember all the names of the books. I just don't want to say them, but I will tell you they're just by Sarah Kate. If you want to read those books, you definitely should. I mean, they are interesting if that's your kind of thing. It's a little bit on the adult side, obviously. That is why there's a WooHoo club in it. But in general, I would say that the storylines are pretty good. So, yeah. I also originally wanted to do this build because of I think it's the 14 days until Valentine's challenge. And I was planning to do my 14 dates. So I wanted to do each person would go on a date with, somebody else in the world. But I quickly realized that I could not commit to doing 14 dates every day. So I was like, whatever, we're not gonna do that. I'm just gonna do the builds because in the challenge they said you can just do a build if you would like for the challenge. This I wouldn't say is directly for the challenge, it's just where I got the idea. So I was like, yeah, I should definitely do a Valentine's Day build. That would be so fun. And I had an idea for a Valentine's Day room. So in this build specifically, once we get to the actual rooms, then you'll see I did I did have an idea that I was trying to follow. But I think that when I make the other rooms, I'll probably post that separately and you can see what it is. It will probably just be a short or something. So it's going to be a very romantic vibes room because I feel like the rooms that I built here weren't exactly meant to be romantic exactly, except for one of them. But in general, they weren't really meant to be romantic, but they definitely were supposed to give the vibe that you're here to do a very specific task or to get into the mood for a very specific task. So that is why they will end up having that look whenever we get upstairs. Because I did make this a 2-story club, so we haven't even finished the bottom story yet. We're not even halfway through with the build, so you'll definitely see. In other news, though, it seems like people are kind of liking the speed builds. I have been getting some interactions on Instagram. I was very excited about that. So I'm probably going to do mostly speed builds. I think I mentioned it in one of my other videos, maybe, but I am not going to continue the Lucid Legacy Challenge on film. I'm not going to record it anymore, but I do have an Instagram account that I'll be posting parts of their story on. I do have 2 Instagram accounts for The Sims. I might make another one, honestly, I don't know, just so I can have different accounts for different things. I love having different accounts for different things. I have so many Instagram accounts in general from when I was a teenager and even a little younger, but I don't use them anymore, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna repurpose them. I already have the accounts made. I may as well use them for something, anything at all, really, because otherwise they're just taking up space. And strangely enough, one of the Instagram accounts that I used, it wasn't related to The Sims at all, but one of the Instagram accounts that I used to use actually got taken down and deleted by Instagram, and I don't really understand why exactly. They didn't say why, they just took it away, and I was like, well, that really sucks because it was actually my dog's Instagram account. So I was really upset about that. I lost all of the progress and pictures of my dog on there because I've gotten multiple new phones since making that Instagram account, so I no longer have access to any of those things. That actually ended up happening to a girl that I know as well. One of her accounts got banned. I'm not even sure why. Well, not banned, but it got deleted as well. But I don't really understand why. I don't know if it can't be from inactivity because I have had many Instagram accounts from 2014 that haven't gotten taken down yet. But they took down the one that I made more recently, which did not make any sense to me. I actually still have one of my oldest Instagram account, actually. That one, it still exists to this day, and sometimes I go back and look at it if I want to cringe or as a funny story because it's so silly. I had so many silly posts on there for no reason at all. Just being a silly kid, I guess. It's just so funny how kids are so full of whimsy and can sometimes not pay attention to their presence, I guess. So like my online presence, I wasn't too worried about that on my Instagram account. I think it might be private. Actually, no, it's not private. My oldest Instagram account is not private, and it's from when I was like 12. It's probably not a good thing. I don't think I ever posted pictures of myself on it though. I'm not one to really post pictures of myself on any of my social media accounts. I do have a YouTube channel where I show my face, but it's definitely not the same thing as just posting Instagram pictures of myself. I just don't think anyone wants to see me. So I felt no reason to. And also, I'm kind of shy, kind of a little bit insecure, which is why I don't do face cam videos on this account. But it's not like there's a big secret. I'm not some secret YouTuber. Like, you could find my other YouTube channel pretty easily, and then you could easily see me. So it's not like I'm hidden or trying to hide. I just don't feel the need to put my face in my videos. I don't know. But I can definitely appreciate the people who do that. They seem to have a very nice following, you know. And actually, speaking of Instagram followings, I ended up coming across an account that buys followers, and I was following him for some reason, even though I know I've never followed him in my life. And I was very confused by that. I don't really understand the purpose of buying followers, but I mean, if you want to do that, sure, go right ahead. I think maybe it feels better to grow organically though, because then you can get more genuine interactions. I am someone who kind of will follow people if they follow me. So I'll follow you back if you follow me, usually as long as we have similar content. But since I have so many Instagram accounts, even if I didn't follow you on the account that you followed me on, I could still follow you on one of my others. Just let me know, or I can let you know. And yeah, I mean, I like to have separate things for each of my Instagram accounts, which sounds really stupid, but I'm usually logged into 4 accounts at a time because they're all for different things. One of them is my aesthetic account, one of them is my spam account, one of them is one that I just like to repost stories on, and I just have story little highlights of things that I thought were interesting. And then my other one is my Sims account. Well, I have 2 Sims accounts, like I said, but I'm only logged into one at a time because of the issues that I've been having. Instagram has been having an issue. I don't know if it's because of the age of the account, but it will not let me continue to scroll and read things, or it just stops loading. It stops loading everything on all of my accounts that are logged in. So I have to stop using that account on my phone. I think I'm going to maybe just, I don't know if I want to delete the account or what I want to do, but I'm gonna have to do something because otherwise it's gonna keep messing up my account. So I'm gonna try to figure something out. I don't know, but I really want to start posting my stories on that account. So it's just so upsetting to me that I can't read the Sim stories on Instagram anymore because my Instagram just won't work. So I just love Sim stories so much because you can actually visually see it. It's like reading a book, but you can see it and it's not a movie, so there's no need to pay actors or anything. They're just so interesting. Plus, it's funny to see what people can come up with in The Sims, especially since The Sims are so animated and so silly and goofy, make goofy faces. It's it's just hilarious. I've been watching Sim stories and like looking at Sim stories in general for a very, very long time. Like when I was like 10, maybe like between 10 and 12, I guess, I would watch Sims 2 and Sims 3 machinimas all the time. And I actually thought about making machinimas myself, but I think I would have to make an entirely new YouTube channel for that because it would not fit the vibe of this channel at all. It would be very, very very out of the, I guess, vibe of this channel. So, plus the thing is, machinimas take so long to film. I was watching somebody make a machinima and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can commit to this, to be completely honest. But I was still willing to try it. I might do short form machinimas if I did anything like that. It would definitely have to be a passion project type thing, though. I would have to be super dedicated to it only for me, which I would be. No one ever has in life ever asked me to make a machinima, so it would be for me. Just to kind of get my editing skills up to par as well, because I feel like my editing is decent for basic edits, but editing in general, it can really do something to the vibe of the video or the movie or the TV show, whatever it is that you're watching. Editing can really have a big effect in media, so I think it's a great way to practice it because I don't want to just have basic edits under my belt, you know? I would like to be able to edit things that are more complex. But I think that's something I'll do another time down the line. For now, I just want to try out doing Sim stories, just the written version, because I do have books that I try to write in my free time. I wouldn't say they're full-blown books. I would love for them to be, and I have a general idea of what I would like for them to be like, but I don't have, like, it's not fully done. For most of them, I've only written a few chapters. And actually, this still makes me very upset to this very day, but Wattpad took down one of my stories that I was writing and they never like looked at my appeal or like repeal. So, I've just lost all that progress because for some reason whenever Wattpad feels like it's not meant to be on their service, they just take it down. They don't hear you out. They don't give you the rights back to your book that you wrote yourself. I had written down some of the notes and I had written like 3 of my chapters down in a Google Doc. So I do still have some of the information, but there's no way I'm going to get it all back. And that really does upset me. I spent so much time on it and I was like, oh my gosh, people are actually reading this because you can see how many people have read your book. And I was like, wow, people are actually reading this. I'm going to keep writing. But then they took it down without warning or anything. They could have at least given a warning or kind of said what it is that I did wrong, but they don't even tell you what you've done wrong so that you can try to change it. They just take it down. It's very, very not a great way to run a business, especially one that is meant to be for creativity. At least when you make a YouTube video, you will always have a copy of that video. Plus, you can always unlist it or private it or whatever, you know. And I think that they will give you a warning. I'm not sure. I've never had a video be on the brink of getting taken down, but just from the way that other people have described it, you know. So that's why I'm like, I don't know. I just think that Wattpad should not have done that and shouldn't be able to do that. But like I said, I learned my lesson. I'm always going to write down my stories in a Google Doc or on one of the like story writing services. I know that there are quite a few and I had looked into them before. I just can never remember the name of them. I might have it bookmarked somewhere, but I think that the story service where you can put ideas of what you think your character looks like and write descriptions for each character, I think that is very fun, very cool. It's a great way to keep your ideas in one space and keep them consistent because I think a problem I ran into with Wattpad is since I started writing the story that got taken down when I was about 16, maybe 15, I couldn't remember everything that I had described them as unless I went back and read it over. So I think for consistency's sake, if you can see pictures of your character constantly or see their description constantly, then I think it really helps, at least in the beginning. Since I was only in the beginning phases of that story, I think I was like maybe 10 chapters in because it took me a really long time. I got writer's block for I guess quite a few years because I abandoned it for a long time until last year. And when I finally got back into writing, that's when they just snatched it right from me. No more book for me, I guess. And it sucks because I had drafts also that I was writing in there that hadn't been published yet, so I lost all of that too. But I do also have it written down somewhere, but if you asked me to find that paper, I would not know where it is. I have so many notebooks and so many random sheets of paper around. I should really get more organized. I think that's really the moral of this story, and what I'm figuring out while talking about this is I should be way more organized. But it's okay. It's a process. It takes time to get organized. Oh, now, as you can see in the video, we're upstairs now, right? And when I did these rooms that are upstairs, the ones on the, I guess, left-hand side, if you're looking straight on, the ones that have the windows, those, if you know what they are, then that's great. But those were in the book. That is why I had the idea to put those in there. So we have the special watching rooms, and then on the other side we're gonna have more hotel room vibes, so they're more meant for if you just need to get away with your significant other or whoever you're going here with, then you guys can just go rent a room and chill. And they're nice, at least I think they're kind of nice rooms. They're very small. They're supposed to be small because I was like, it's not a real hotel, and I don't think that I could make a real hotel. I think I send props to anybody who has ever built a hotel in The Sims because I could never do it. It's so much of doing the same thing over and over again, and you can just copy the room, I know, but I think making the rooms different a little bit can really make it feel like a real hotel, since in real hotels there are a lot of times different suites and different different room types in general, double bedrooms, single double beds, like it's hard to describe if you don't know what I'm talking about. The rooms with two beds versus the rooms with one bed versus the rooms with a bed and a couch, and then like the split rooms that look like an actual, like, I guess studio apartment almost, or not even a studio because studios are mostly open concept, whereas in the suites that I'm thinking of, it's like a wall and it separates it from the rest of the room. So I don't know, but my point is, I think that it is important to have distinction in hotels if you're building them, but I know that it can be really, really hard. So if I ever did build a hotel, I would probably a motel, because motels don't have to be as nice. They don't have suites typically. I'm sure some of them do, but they don't typically have suites in motels. So it would be way easier. Plus, I feel like some of the things in The Sims you can get a more rundown vibe, especially if you have something like the for rent pack, or if you have city living, they can really help with rundown vibes. But a lot of times, I feel like you still have to get custom content, which isn't fair for the people who play on console and things. So if you're someone who builds on console, wow, I really commend you, because I could never build on console. That seems really aggravating. But I mean, if you can do it, the props to you. You are a trooper, because it seems very difficult to do. I think if I didn't build on PC, I would definitely have a skill under my belt. I think building on console is definitely a skill. I have played The Sims on console, but it was The Sims 2. So it's definitely not the same thing as playing The Sims 4 on console, which actually, now that I think about it, I forgot I had The Sims 4 on console when I first got my PlayStation many, many years ago. But I never, ever built on console because that it's just too complicated. It's way too complicated. Plus, I was not in my building era yet. I feel like I'm definitely thriving more building than I was with gameplay back then. Now, since I'm doing different types of gameplay, like I've started doing the not so berry challenge again, and I have done the not so berry challenge before. I've done it like 3 different times, so I never finished it any of the times that I did it though. I got to the plum generation, and since I do not have get together, I just never got past the dance machine thing. But I have an idea for my story, right? So I won't give too much away, but I have an idea for how my sim in that generation will be a dancer, so I'm gonna do that instead. and they will just have to not have the dance machine trait. They'll just have to have another purple trait, because the traits correlate with the color generation, that is, like the mint generation. There's green traits that you have, you know, it's vegetarian and jealous, and I forget what the other one is. But they're all green traits. Oh, materialistic is the third trait. So all of those traits are green. And then for the second generation rose, it's romantic, snob, and a hothead. You know, so it all goes with the color. It's correlation, you know. So it's it makes sense. So I just have to find purple traits. I don't really know if there are any purple traits, so it will be kind of hard, I think, but I can definitely figure out a way, or figure out a trait to give them that is similar to the color purple or plum, which is what that generation is called. I think it's the 5th generation. So I'm gonna do that. I think it will be pretty fun, the idea that I have for it anyway. So yeah, I think though that is all that I have to say for today. So I will let you watch the rest of this video. You have quite a bit of time left to watch it. So I'll play some nice music for you, let you just look at this, because yeah, we're almost done. And I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!